Now let's introduce you to the Facade Manager, particularly the added building level and also the auto distribution tool. The Facade Manager has three levels: building, facade, and surface. It is designed in a way that lets you operate from both a top-down, building to surface, or a bottom-up manner from surface to building. This means you can select the whole building via the Building tab and apply percentage frame or glazing family, and it will be propagated down to every surface. One exception is the percentage glazing on the building level, which is selected on the Performance Manager. Using a bottom-up approach, you can also navigate to a specific surface, change its glazing percentage, and Fenestra Pro Premium will accordingly recalculate percentages in other surfaces to keep the given overall percentage glazing. You can also change the glazing family on a surface and the glazing family shown on the facade, and the building level will show specification not unique or mixed. The same applies for all drop-down choices in the Facade Manager. Later on, we will talk about facade by facade or surface by surface level and some of the features and tools we have on this. But for the moment, let's just talk about it at a building level. I have already set up this mass model. I've applied 40% glazing throughout every facade, and if we look at our viewers, we can see the 40% glazing on every facade and the appropriate or relevant heat gains for each orientation. The first thing I can do is set the default facade glazing. It's not unusual to have default type of glazing for a building that's used throughout. Now, there may be particular facades that you might have a feature glazing walling system, or particular floors that might be retail and restaurant, for example, that might have a different system, and that's no problem. We can set that at a facade or at a surface level, but for the moment, we can set it at a default facade for the entire building. We have double or triple glazing types, and then our specifications would be quite generic, performance-led selections based on your center pane U value and your solar transmittance values. The next thing we can do is we have an auto distribution tool. So as we said, we can have all of our different heat gains throughout the building, some of what we would consider overheating, which is above 25 watts per square meter. They would be up to the 40s and 50 watts per square meter, and some are within what we would refer to as that sweet spot of between 15 and 25. So we have shown green at about 20 watts per square meter, and anything that's below 15 watts per square meter, we would consider that being significantly underheating and not maximizing your passive solar heat gains. We are going to auto-distribute the glazing, and effectively it's going to equalize the heat gains around all of the facades and distribute the glazing accordingly. So now there is a heat gain of 42.9 watts per square meter for every facade, and our glazing is being redistributed, so rather than 40% glazing on every facade, there is still 40% glazing for the entirety of the building, but it's being distributed slightly differently. So in other words, on the north facade, for example, there is over 80% glazing. The south facades are down to 30% glazing, and then the appropriate heat gains. So now we are at a point that we can start manipulating these heat gains and trying to manage that overheat and bring that overheating level down to a more comfortable 25 watts per square meter. We hope you have enjoyed this overview of Fenestra Pro Premium. Watch the other videos in the series to get a better idea of what each part of the software does to help you build better buildings. Please don't hesitate to contact us directly if you have any further questions or feedback at info@fenestrapro.com.